Welcome to Five Fires YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about Tiana's Bayou adventure and everything that has come from the disastrous POV from Disney parks. Literally, they're the ones that dropped this video. It was them. So we've been getting a lot of momentum, positive buildup with Disney Imagineering. They've been doing videos, beautifully filmed videos and well-edited videos. Involving obviously Disney Imagineering and what they're working on and stuff that they worked off in the past. And it kind of led into Tiana's. And we got glimpses of animatronic, a little bit of the music. And, everyone's excited. We're going to see the first POV at some point in time. Cast member previews right down the line and stuff like that. Well, before all that started, Disney dropped their own POV. And to say it's been a disaster is an understatement because this POV was just not filmed good. Obviously, Splash Mountain being reimagined into Tiana's Bayou Adventure, that had its own hill to try to triumph. And there's going to be a lot of people that just this thought of Splash Mountain being rethemed will never win them over. As good as Tiana could have been or is, it was never going to win over a big crowd that just diehard Splash Mountain fans. And that was one of the conversations that I was trying to ask. That was one of the conversations I was trying to ask in recent lives of, will this ride feel anything like a Splash Mountain, or will this ride be so good that we even forget we're riding Splash Mountain and it's this new iteration of Tiana's Bayou Adventure? Well, to say the least, you can't help but think about Splash Mountain throughout this whole POV. I haven't read it personally, obviously. We're in California. But from seeing this POV, it was just not good from the aspect of this filming. Like this filming that happened throughout this POV from Disney parks themselves just doesn't do the ride justice. I've heard a lot of good, positive reviews of people who have ridden the ride. And one of the most important was from Drew Disney Dude, who's been documenting the heck out of this ride, and I trust his opinion. And he loved the ride. It was to him, it was way different than whatever this POV provided. And things have actually changed from this POV to current. But an article has been written by the Forbes.com. I can't believe it. And it literally starts off with Disney spoils its own ride and pays the price. Brutal. Absolutely brutal with this. They are doing cast member preview now at Walt Disney World. And it's been a tough one. There's been fire alarm that has gone off. And that was yesterday. So previews were halted and essentially just canceled for the rest of the day. And then today, there's even been more preview, and right here, this was from Mouse Steps on Twitter. They've been waiting for 2 hours, just waiting because it got, I guess, shut down for the current time because they were having issues on the ride, and then it eventually just became right here. Where is it? There we go. The update before the queue was emptied. That was it. The rest of the queue was pretty much busier. We're here for 3.5 hours before everyone had to leave. I don't know if that is just that group of cast members and then a new group of cast members are going to be able to get a chance to ride it. I don't know, but these people waited literally 3.5 hours. Couldn't even get on Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And as somebody who lives in California, I know this is technical rehearsals, this is previews, but as somebody watching this with the idea of, do I want to plan a trip to Walt Disney World to do this one ride that seems to be breaking down a lot, and the Florida heat is coming with vengeance very soon. We're in June. Imagine July out there. These advanced animatronics that Disney has, it's their first time using these specific animatronics. The new technology, it's wild. It's wild to see. The answer is no. I as much as I wanted to be there for opening day and stuff like that, there has to be a little fear of like, well, what about the ride breaks down and they just cancel it for the day? There goes your whole Walt Disney World day. Because at this point in time, the new thing is Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So that's why I want to go to Florida. Obviously, there's Walt Disney World in general is amazing in itself, but the new shiny toy, Tiana's Bayou Adventure. If we could even call it a new shiny toy, it's like 30-year-old ride, right? It's a very old ride that I guess we're trying to think it's new, even though it's old and has had issues and neglect and probably maintenance neglect for a long time. What a weird scenario Disney is in. Before we even get into this article, I haven't read the article, so everything's going to be first thoughts. I just wanted to get some of my thoughts out before. I think it's a blessing for Disneyland to have not opened at the same time of Walt Disney World, because I could have sworn in the very beginning they wanted a simultaneous opening. Disneyland, Walt Disney World. So with all the issues and who knows what's to come problem-wise from Walt Disney World, they're learning all of that to then be brought over to Disneyland and correct these things. And I think it's a blessing. Hopefully, as weird as it sounds, you never want to say things like this as a Disneyland fan, but if they need to delay, we don't have any opening date, but there's been a lot of rumor and speculation that it could be like August, September, October-ish, not a November, December kind of thing of opening here at Disneyland. Well, if they got to delay it, just let it get delayed. We want a complete ride, a ride that's been tried and tested and will run, because when it opens at Disneyland, you best believe 3 to 6 hour waits are to come whenever it opens. Here, it's a very locals park, and the crowds want to come and ride. They want to ride Tiana's, and at the same time, people just want to remember Splash, as rough as that sounds to Disney people. But yeah, this idea of the ride breaking down is brutal, especially the thought of Florida. They're doing boarding groups, so it's not so easy to just ride Tiana's Bayou Adventure on day one. It's just tough. It's like there's nothing easy coming from any of this. And it's so wild because we were just on a very extreme high of positivity with Disney Springs and all the magic that got created over there for Fantasy Springs. Or not Disney Springs, but Fantasy Springs in Tokyo. Wow, the power of Walt Disney Imagineering showcasing to its fullest, and with three different lands, 3 different rides, and we get in the showcase all this build up backstories that have been just tremendous build up, and we get Tiana's Bayou Adventure with the worst horribly filmed POV that you could have. Like, we were making a joke recently that like it's probably not even like an iPhone 14 Pro, like this is like an iPhone 12 filmed it or something, you know what I mean? I don't know, who knows what the heck they used to film that POV from Disney parks, but I would, if I was, obviously if I was in charge of marketing, I would have, without a doubt, which YouTubes film great POVs, and let's collaborate with these people. It's like that simple. And my first thought would have been, for me personally, SoCal Attractions 360. Like, SoCal's and their POV, they're gods. They're literally gods of POV. I would have hired them. Hey, we need POVs in this style, or this, you know what I mean? Like, this is the inspiration we want of our POV. Can you make it happen? They would have done the bestest of job. Like, literally. But to revert back to Disneyland opening second, I think is the biggest blessing. And the fact that we have less scenes, more compact, I think that's what's going to benefit a lot from this, from our Disneyland, Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Because there's been a lot of complaints over there in Florida with the whole emptiness of the ride. But I feel like Splash always had emptiness in general. You know what I mean? But, the conversations are just different in 2024. All right. Couple more things to get to. We're scared of riding this ride if you're traveling. I was curious to see because, a very famous POV that got dropped by a theme park before the ride ever opened, Velocicoaster. Velocicoaster. They dropped an official on-ride point of view May 28th. And then the ride opened June 10th. Guess what the POV for Velocicoaster did? Extreme hype. Like freaking people went bonkers over this POV. I remember I went nuts. This try not to cuss right. This ride is just insane, intense, and amazing, all in one package. And look at this. Look at this. I just want to show you guys. This is from Universal Orlando. 45,000 likes, and might as well be 0, honestly. 529 dislikes. Who cares at that point? It's nothing. And this POV, this obviously a lot of years ago, 6,485,000. And Tiana's Bayou Adventure, we're only 2 days young, 446,000 views. And the big one, 8.7 thousand up likes to 21,000 dislikes. Damn. And talk about the conversation being had in the comments. It's just brutal. It's brutal. Holy macaroni, man. All right, let's get to this. This is what I wanted to get to. Forbes. Disney spoils its own ride and pays the price. Disney theme park design division is famous for its secrecy, so when it's recently posted a full video of its newest attraction on YouTube a month before it launched, it seemed to be the dawn of a whole new world. It may not last for long. Called Imagineers for their imaginative use of Imagineering, the wizards who design Disney theme parks are fiercely protective of their creation, and there is a good reason for this. Disney Imagineering Division spends tens of millions of dollars. Tens of millions. They spend a lot more than that as a whole. Developing new attractions which are often packed with pioneer of technology, so it doesn't want its competitors to get wind of them before they debut. That's kind of crazy when you think about, because Disney Imagineering literally showed us skeletons of the animatronic with Lewis. So it's crazy to just visually see that, right? About this secrecy stuff. Likely Disney doesn't usually want to spoil the surprise for guests because they know what a new attraction is like before it opens. They might not even need to write it. Given how much money the mouse has got on the line with each attraction, it explains why secrecy has become a watchword for Imagineering. Yeah, I could totally see that. That's why I'm still shocked. I am still shocked that Disney literally showed the end scene. I can't believe it. I still can't believe that the final scene was showcased in this POV. Where is it? Right here. I'm shocked. Like, I thought Disney was going to spoil everything except this. So it's one of those, like, you want to see this part, which is the big finale, you got to come to Walt Disney World. But no, Disney gave it to everybody. I could only assume from this is that they thought they were so confident of this product that they're like, yeah, we showcase it to the world now. We want everybody to see it. But obviously, this article literally is saying backfire. No sooner has ground been cleared for a new attraction than tall construction walls go up to prevent pesky prying eyes. Meanwhile, the real magic happens inside Imagineering headquarters in Glendale. On stepping through its doors, it soon becomes clear how prized its privacy is there. As you enter Blaine Gibson Sculpting Studio, there's a sign that says, "This is closed set," accompanied by drawing Mickey in a police uniform holding up his hand in a stop position. Close by, another sign that shows the scrolling face of Pete, Mickey's arch rival, alongside the words "Absolutely no photography." New technology is patented. Okay, here we go. Imagineers hollowed halls, and the first publicly usually finds out about when it's Imagineers hollowed halls, and the first the public usually finds out about it is when they have handed over their hard earned cash in return for an entrance ticket to the parks. However, at the start of this month, Disney public relation team tore up that script when it released a full point on POV of the ride through of one of the most eagerly awaited attractions, Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Beautiful photo right here. Due to debut later this month, June 28th, that's its official day, Walt Disney Magic Kingdom, the ride isn't a showcase of new technology and instead a rethemed version of a classic Disney log flume, Splash Mountain. This is why it has been subject of so much feverish attention from fans, and it has also made it highly controversial. Splash Mountain debuted at Disneyland 1889, set a new record for having the steepest drop. This isn't the only reason why it broke new ground. Upon the log flume typically looks scaffolding. Okay, we all go into that. Splash Mountain changed the game as it water channel was set inside a soaring cartoony tree stump. The logs climbed up inside an old barn and then passed through indoor segments. Oh my gosh, this is just like... The ride became a fan favorite thanks to its iconic shape, catchy tunes, panoramic view of Magic Kingdom. Yeah, the drop right before Magic Kingdom, so beautiful. The final drop in its cast of colorful animatronic animals, which included Burr Fox and Burr Bear. The ride was inspired by Disney's 1946 Song of the South, and this ultimately led it to its downfall. Song of the South tells the story of a young boy visiting his grandmother's plantation after the Civil War and has been criticized for its racist depiction of black people and for romanticizing the era. In 2020, Disney Bob Iger said that the film will not be available to purchase or stream on Disney Plus platform, and added that Song of the South, even with the disclaimer, was just not appropriate in today's world. Removing the ride based on it was not easy, but push came to shove in 2020 at the peak of the BLM movement. After weeks of civil rights protests and petitions calling Disney to change the ride, it announced the end of Splash Mountain and claimed it had actually been planning this since 2019. You know, do we really believe that one? I remember when that was said back then, I was like, they were already trying to change this ride. I don't know about that. To make it clear that a line had been drawn under the original ethos of the ride, Disney revealed that the new version would be based on 2009 hit The Princess and the Frog, which featured the first black princess. Set in New Orleans during 1920s, The Princess and the Frog tells the story of a hardworking waitress named Tiana who dreams of opening her own restaurant after kissing Prince Naveen, who has been turned into a frog by the evil voodoo witch Dr. Facilier. Tiana becomes a frog as well and must find a way to turn them both back into humans. Dude, Princess and the Frog, I recently, just to, get caught up, because it's been a long time since I've seen the movie, heard the music, stuff like that. We heard the soundtrack. We had a long drive recently. Gosh, the Princess and the Frog soundtrack, the music from the movie, incredible. Banger after banger after banger. Like, all I kept thinking was, if they just kind of would have, I guess they call it a book report ride for Tiana, it would have been good. Because the music and the visuals that are from the movie depicted now on the ride, it would have just worked. And that's one of the big things that I've seen on Twitter, specifically Twitter, is that everybody just hates the fact that Dr. Facilier has no presence, that is just not part of the ride, that voodoo is scary for kids, and blah, blah, like, what? The whole concept that Dr. Facilier might have been too scary for kids, I laugh at that because we literally had concept art involving King Thanos, and one of my subscribers, shout out to Kimberly, King Thanos is not for kids. And they're trying to build this King Thanos ride in Avenger Campus. Like, whatever. But I really feel if they would have just retold the story of the Princess and the Frog, it would have been great. It would have been wonderful. It would have just been this, like, you just clapping and just singing every song along the way to a big celebration at the very end. It would have been good. Dr. Facilier on the way up of the hill, just imagine hearing that music on the way up before you go down. Oh man, it's just what could have been, right? It's I think that's what could have been if it's just. But Disney chose the path of an original story beyond the movie, and they still put Ray. They still put Ray for some reason in the ride. Ray doesn't exist anymore. If we're sticking to storylines, right? Ray the Firefly in the ride for some reason. The announcement was accompanied by a lush concept art showing the old tree stump atop the attraction that would have been replaced with a huge weeping willow sitting on a mousy out crock. Cracks soon started to appear. Dude, look at this concept art. Insane. Yeah, Mama Odie's tree at the top, just beautiful. Ironically, though, Disney announced that Splash Mountain would be rethemed in Orlando and California. It soon came to light that the ride would remain the same time at Tokyo. Yeah, Tokyo will never. They're not even trying to go this route. They're just going to keep it Splash forever, probably. The logic behind this is that it's too offensive, or origin of the underlying story has less relevance to the local audience in Japan. However, Tokyo Disney also happens to be the only Disney-branded resort which isn't owned or operated by the media giant. Instead, they obviously operated by Oriental Land Company. If OLC believed that the retheme of Splash would bring significant benefit, it would have given the green light, regardless of whether or not the subject matter was offensive to the local audience. After the construction walls went up around Splash in Orlando and Cali, it became clear the spectacular centerpiece treetop on top of the attraction had been scrapped. This left it without a landmark, or weenie as they are known. Who calls it weenie? What? Which would have been seen from afar. Instead, the attraction looks like a mound of moss, stands in stark contrast to the initial concept art. The content of the ride is even more confusing. So I have been, from the POV, I'm trying to think of what was the story. Did the story matter? Does story matter when you're on a ride? You know what I mean? I feel like for this ride, story should have mattered just because this is beyond the movie. And Disney's new interpretation of Tiana. Where are these characters going? You know, what is going on here? That's literally the question. Because I'm still confused when you become small you become a frog, and then Mama Odie's just like, all right, need to make you big again for a bigger splash. You're like, what? What are we doing here? I still feel that way. And I thought it was a shortcut. I thought the drop was a shortcut because we saw from the photo pass where literally a Firefly was holding a sign that said shortcut. I don't know. We're trying to find critters, even though Tiana's already with them to go to this big party at the end. And originally I thought we were going to be finding a spice or find this secret ingredient or this ingredient to then all come together at the very end. So confusing. So the story goes, Tiana has transformed a local salt mine into a garden growing vegetables for her kitchen. To thank her friends and family for their support, Tiana throws a party during Mardi Gras season, but finds that she is missing the ingredient of music. Riders step into the logs on a journey through the Bayou to find it. Even by the theme park ride standard, its premise is unclear, and this hasn't been lost on the audience. That's another thing, too, that's been happening. A big push of Tiana's Foods. Tiana's Food. There is no Tiana's Foods at this point in time in Walt Disney World. Disneyland totally makes sense. We just recently had Tiana's Palace open in New Orleans. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to make that come to life. I'm guessing a Tiana restaurant is going to Walt Disney World at some point in time, but we'll see. At the time of writing, the ride-through video has 336,000 views, but only has 7,600 times, only been liked 76. How many does it have now? So another 1,000 likes, but 21,000 dislikes. Word still has been deluged by negative feedback. This video is so boring. I can't even imagine why they thought it would be a good idea in the animatronics with the awkward arm motion. This retheme is going to go down as one of the greatest theme park blunders, wrote one of the viewers. Oof. Oof. Another one said, this is a quote, Disney once made a haunted mansion with 999 souls. They've now created an entire mountain without one. I don't even know what to... Oh, very, very brutal comment right there. Not only did one of the viewers say, I'm so glad I'm not alone in thinking how utterly boring and visually uninteresting this is, but the comment yielded 5 replies from others who all agreed with it. You know, it's tough to hear these things. It's tough to hear these things, mainly because, like, the public hasn't written this. You know what I mean? We're just kind of basing all this on a video that was horribly filmed from Disney. That's the worst part. It's not even like one of the YouTube channels out there or a TikTok or an Instagram reel. This is from Disney. Like, Disney was so confident in the way they were thinking that this was like it. And obviously it wasn't. I haven't had too much time to, in a sense, make a list of pros and cons. What am I trying to, damn. I'm going to close the door. Yeah, it was happening to me too. Don't worry about it. I haven't had time yet to, like, try to pinpoint pros and cons of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I haven't had that, 1 hour to, like, really dedicate of, like, what do I like about this ride? What don't I not like about this ride? And we're all at the same time, like, this is coming from a POV. But I'm going to do that at some point in time. Right here, we got, I guess they got WD Magic, one of the leading authorities of Disney World developments. A summary showing how the criticism picks each aspect of the attraction apart. I haven't read this. This is all new to me. The new version remains colorful and adds expressive animatronics as well as video screens which are set into the scenery. This has gone down well with some fans, but WDW Magic points out the overall sentiment has skewed negatively, with many YouTube viewers expressing disappointment in the new attraction storytelling and overall experience. One of the most frequent criticisms centers around the ride's storyline. Viewers find the plot centering on Tiana searching for party musicians lacking depth and coherence. Many feel the story does not capture the magic of The Princess and the Frog and misses the opportunity to include more iconic elements from the film. Despite overloading the ride with storylines, which I could see that too, the whole overload of story, Walt Disney World Magic points out that many of the fans have been angered by the absence for the ride from the movie's main antagonist, Dr. Facilier. But everybody knew that what they were trying to do was beyond the movie. So that's why it's a hard one. It's a hard, like, I get what everyone's saying, but why wasn't everybody this mad back then when we found out it was beyond the story, beyond the movie? One viewer said, I'm sorry, but there's no coherent story, no suspense, a sense of danger, no sense of danger or thrill. I wish they had added Dr. Facilier to the ride, especially for the big drop. It would have been so much better. Tiana deserves so much better than this snooze fest. Others agree, with one even saying that it warrants a trip to Tokyo Disneyland to revisit the original version of the attraction. Oh my gosh. Crazy to read these things. Like, we're talking about Disney. I thought everybody loved Disney. Disney could do no wrong. It's crazy to have been following Disney now for, I guess, like 8 years. Really solid 8 years of keeping track of all these movements that the Disneyland, a little bit of Walt Disney World, but Disneyland has done. And I remember saying back then, like 2018-ish, 2019, right before everything, like how Disney could just do no wrong. Upping prices, giving you less, everybody's still happy. And since coming back from the pandemic, it has been a total different narrative of, like, it seems like they only are making wrong decisions or can't help but make the wrong decision. You know what I mean? It's like it's just a different tone, different narrative. The vision is not where it used to be. You could say it's Bob Iger coming back. Is he going to be strong enough to overcome whatever, I guess, the blame wants to go on Bob Chapek? I don't know. Splash Mountain had a story with an antagonist. This one did not. Instead, you're looking for some kind of spice. Off to Japan I go. Oh my God. Just brutal. Walt Disney World Magic adds that fans have criticized the new ride for having too much empty space, making parts of it feel dull and lifeless. Some portions are awkwardly quiet, concludes the viewer. Wills, another, says that, except for the finale, it just seems so empty. There seems to be lots of dead space that they really had no idea what to do with. Worryingly, these don't appear to be mindless comments driven by bots, as the comments show thoughtful analysis of the video. I don't think it's bots just bombarding, all the comments that we're seeing from Disney, literally Disney. I don't think these are bots. Who does have bots? Is Disney themselves. I could actually prove it. Let me go to, it was when I did the Mondo the Frog post recently. All the Disney bots are coming to that post. And this is not the first time that the Disney bots have come. Right here. This one. This post right here. Disney bots are all up in this. Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. In Tiana's Bayou adventure, I felt the magic of dreams coming true, like a lily blooming in the moonlight, stirring my heart with joy. What? Look at this AI generated nonsense right here. Oh, Tiana, magical journey in the bayou made me wish I could dine under the fireflies too? Yeah, these are the Disney bots. Tiana's journey brought so much joy, like fireflies dancing over the water. Disney is using the bots. That's who's using the bots. It's Disney. Literal proof, yeah, all this AI stuff right here. Walt Disney World Magic, or WDW Magic, concludes that overall reaction is one of the disappointment, with many expressing that the ride does not meet their expectations. Despite some praises from animatronic and visual effects, the lack of compelling story and the numerous missed opportunity seem to have left many fans yearning for Splash Mountain. It's not coming back. Splash is gone. Don't even think of it. Many of the positive comments even have a negative tone. It's like, especially when they're comparing the attractions to its predecessor. Dude, it's just never going to be Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain is just its own perfection. This ride, the battle that it has of overcoming Splash Mountain, I don't think it's going to get there. If maybe Disneyland's, since it's more compact, less of these dead spaces, I think Disneyland and everything they're learning that's wrong with this version, I think Disneyland, if there's a big delay, I think Disneyland can pull this off of a good and great ride for many years to come. And that's another thing I've been asking a couple friends is obviously look at all this negativity that's come out of this and just the disappointment, I guess you could say. Does Disney make a move in the next 10 years and just an overhaul update and maybe flush out, if things were budget cut, flush out this storyline or add to it more and more? I don't know, because when Disney does stuff, they do it for the long haul. So is this going to be just the ride they're going to push out there for the next 30, I don't want to say 30, the next 15 years, we'll see. I'll give all my thoughts at the very end of all this, completely. It was the same on X, with one account saying that if you're going to replace an attraction, you should make it better. while it's still good, Tiana's Bayou Adventure is not as great as Splash Mountain was. Others were harsher, with one describing it a wasted 4 years of effort. Mm. Mm. The hashtag brings back Splash has begun. They're not bringing back Splash. Like, it's just not going to happen. It is not going to happen. Presumably, Disney Parks' publicity team had the authority from the highest level to release that video, so it remains to be seen who actually came up with this idea. The publicity team are professionals, so it's hard to imagine them dropping the ball like this. It has enabled Disney to be the first to market with the video, but it also has eerie similarities with Disney's promotional strategy for the last years, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which premiered at Cannes nearly 2 weeks before its general release. The feedback on the film was largely negative, and this dominated the news agenda until it was released because the fans had no way of making up their own minds. So even though the audiences ended up awarding it a respectable 88%, is that true? 88% on Rotten Tomato? Wow. I have yet to see that movie. I just don't care to watch it. By the time the movie was released, a lot of viewers had put off by negative publicity. As a result, it only ended up grossing $384 million, leaving it a $146 million loss. Oh, so they're trying to give it as an example that all this negative feedback is just gonna end up being a loss. I don't know. People are, no matter what, still gonna travel to Walt Disney World, Tiana's Bayou Adventure or not. I think the hard part for Disney is that when they create things, it has to be in the back of their mind of, are people going to travel for this? Is this going to spark travel? Because that's what Walt Disney World is. It's a travel destination. And just recently we had the Moana experience. I don't think anybody's traveling for that. We've had some Epcot changes, I guess you could say, happen. Nobody's really traveling for that. The big one that I could relate to, because I traveled for it, and I know a lot of people traveled for it, was Cosmic Rewind. That was an attraction where you're like, I gotta go to Florida. I want to see that. A video will never do justice of what the in-person experience, in real life experience feels. Cosmic Rewind is just so good. I freaking love that ride. Tiana's Bayou Adventure is the latest in a string of Disney attractions to be on the receiving end of stinging criticism. In April last year, scratching reviews led to the Magic Kingdom's Disney Enchantment firework display being replaced. Not just that, what about Harmonious? Or not Harmonious? Yeah, is it Harmonious? Yeah. The big barges and all that craziness that happened. Happily Ever After just came back. Oh, yeah, Harmonious. I remember that too. Harmonious, I didn't completely hate it or nothing. It was just, I don't know. Luminous is good though. I really did enjoy Luminous. I actually traveled for Luminous. Just last month, Disneyland was beset by criticism when it resumed its flagship nighttime show, Fantasmic. I know, dude, Disney just rough time for Disney right now. We got Fantasmic with no dragon. Oh man. Unveiling of Tiana's Bayou Adventure cast a dark spell on the resume of Josh D'Amaro. Famous for his sparkling toothy grin, D'Amaro is regular visitor to the parks and often stops for selfies with guests and staff who are known as cast members due to the role. Whatever. Time will tell whether he will still be smiling when Tiana's Adventure opens. Has been open for a few months, and that is it. Awesome article to read. We will see how all of this plays out with Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I can't wait to ride this in person, but I am at the point where I'm going to wait till it comes to Disneyland. I do not have to, I don't have this urge or burning urge to go to Florida and ride it there first, especially in June. Just imagine the weather in Walt Disney World. All right, that is all What are your pros and cons? What do you think about all of this? And do you agree, disagree? I would love to hear from you. Post in the comments. See you guys tonight on Speculation Sunday. It's going to be a lot of Tiana talk, a lot of Disneyland and Walt Disney World talk. So see you tonight on tonight's live Speculation Sunday. Smash that like button. We're firing it down.